NY being the capital of the East Coast, I've always studied New York culture through hip-hop. Like, I know NY, that's where the mecca of that real hip-hop come from, period.
What you're about to see is hip-hop from the beginning.
One love to that nigga Marley Marl.
Well, my story begins like this. It begins in Queensbridge, back in the day, early 70s. There was nothing but bands in the project. It was just before hip-hop, so everybody was a band. The band guys were in control. You know, us as DJs.
Hip-hop and the DJs. It was the beginning of the DJs. The bands at formals were no longer being used. The DJs were putting the bands out of business.
Where would you say hip-hop started?
I would say it started right here in Bronxdale. And I would say that because we went from black spades to music.
Right.
Mario. Cool DJ Mario. Jump.
African-American teenagers of the 60s or 70s, they was deep into funk, soul, and R&B and disco. And funk, soul, R&B, and disco is basically the foundation of hip-hop music, where you get the hip-hop beats from. You know, the James Brown, the classic James Brown beats. From my understanding, at the very beginning, hip-hop started off as a strictly African-American culture. DJs like Kool Herc, they catered to the African-American teenagers.
I was trying to think about what would be, I guess, synonymous with a Kool Herc party. It would have to be James Brown. Clap your hands, stomp your feet. It wasn't a Kool Herc party.
So Kool Herc saw that the African-American teenagers was deep and heavy into James Brown. So Kool Herc focused on James Brown beats. He focused on extending James Brown beats, making James Brown beats longer.
What were the records that you thought had the best break when you were doing parties in the 70s?
James Brown.
Seeing the Black Spades chant on a chorus like that made Kool Herc want to get that same type of energy at his parties. So that's why he started extending the breaks, because he saw the culture, the Bronx culture, the teenagers, how they would act, how they would go wild during the chorus. He saw that type of stuff, so he started extending the breaks, extending the chorus or extending the break parts of the song, making it longer.
Doing the spade dance.
Spade dance. Yeah. Describe, tell me more about the spade dance. Like
the spade dance, we used to do it to James Brown Soul Power.
Right.
And we say, instead of saying Soul Power, we say Spade Power. Spade Power. We stop out the Spade Power. You know what I mean? If you're original Spade, you know about that. So when Herc came and did what, they credited him for the merry-go-round.
Right.
The music was already here.
Right.
You know, the culture came from the gangs. The gangs was having fun.
Very specifically the Black Spades.
Okay.
Mario, Tex, and the Black Spade DJs was putting on the jams in the park, catering to other teenagers. Whereas, like, the older crowd, like the disco DJs and the R&B DJs in Brooklyn and Queens, they did it with a generator, and they did it, catering to the adult crowd. They put on block parties or whatever out in Brooklyn or Queens, but they did it for the adult crowd. It was a whole different kind of vibe. Mario and Tex and the Black Spade DJs, they was the first putting it on for the teenagers, for the young teenage gangsters, for the young teenagers running wild in the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? They was the ones that was getting the power from the street light and everything like that. Mario, Tex, and the Black Spade DJs.
Hip-hop was a youth